Hi, I'm Scott, and I'm going to be installing some cable railing here. And the cable railing is made by AGS Stainless Incorporated on Bainbridge Island, Washington. They're sponsoring this video, and we're going to go ahead and show you how to install it, and we're going to take a little tour to get an overview of how this rail is made, how your order is processed, and just so you can see how it goes. I'm here with Doug at AGS Stainless, and Doug is an estimator, and he is going to tell us what he does for the customer when the customer calls.
First thing we do is ask them where they need their cable railing, and if they can send us a drawing, a simple hand-drawn sketch. They can either email or fax it to us, or if it's something simple that we can discuss over the phone, something of this nature where I can write down the dimensions, then we figure out all the components needed for that particular project and email the estimate back to the customer.
Okay, great. After you make the estimate and the customer receives it, then what happens next?
We follow up with the customer to make sure they received it, and if they place the order, we get the information from them for their credit card and the signed paperwork, and we send that off to the detailer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go into detailing now and ask them what they do for us. All right. Well, thank you, Doug.
All right.
Okay, this is Cody, and he is a detailer, and that means he draws stuff, and I use AutoCAD here, so he's going to draw my railing. And Cody, when a customer is done in estimating and Doug or Brandon hands them off to you, what do you do for the customer?
Well, what I do for the customers, take their dimensions, input it into our program, lay out our posts based on their dimensions that they give us, and once I've done that, I'll send the customer an email with a drawing with their post placements, and when they verify that it's all correct, they send it back signed, and then I push it through to get reviewed.
Okay, and once it's reviewed, what happens next? Are you done with the customer then?
After that, once I have finished that, I'm done with the customer, and it'll be pushed through to get fabricated, and then it leaves the shop here and goes to you.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to head out to the shop and see how they put this stuff together for me.
Alright, have fun.
Okay,
It's nice meeting you.
Hi, I'm Ryan. The first thing that we do from detailing is we'll bring them over to cutting. We'll cut the posts all down to length, and we'll load them up into the CNC to get all their holes drilled into them. And we'll bring them off to welding. At welding, we'll weld on the two-hole top, and we'll weld on the base cap. And different kinds of posts too. We'll weld on a base plate or a round top, depending on what you request. And from the welding station, we'll bring them over to cleaning here, which will take our Scotch-Brite and our cleaning stick here. We'll just polish the base plate, and we'll go up to the top. We'll polish this part also, and polish the whole post, make it look all good, and then we'll bring it over to our packaging station where we'll put it in polytube and put bubble wrap around either end of the post, and then we'll package them up in a box and send them out to you.
Okay, thanks.
There you go. You have a good one.
Okay, that's the top rail. That's what you grab onto with your hand. And here's the instructions, the actual cables, and two posts with extra fittings and the other stuff. All right, here we go. We're going to unpackage this main bundle right now, and the last thing we deal with is the cables, so I'm going to leave them in the package for now to keep them together. But I'm going to do what men don't traditionally do. I'm going to open the instruction sheet first. There's also a packing slip in here, so I'm going to double check this bundle when I get it. I guess I could count these. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of those. Unless I'm counting wrong. And it says cable option 2 bent. There should be 9. So what do we got there? Oh, they only got one end on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Okay, 9. Only one end's on there. And then I got one top rail. So that's good. Be careful not to actually cut into your post. Don't scratch the post with your knife. even though it's stainless steel and stainless steel is durable and strong, a metal tool against a metal tool, you're just asking for damage. So better safe than sorry. Well, this thing's messed up. Okay, it's bonding agent, and I got one bonding agent. We got a kit that's a cleaning and passivating kit. We got that. Got one package of cable fittings, 9 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got a hardware bag, and they call out probably every piece in there, right? 18 of each. We got some redhead stainless steel anchor bolts and the different nuts. We got the crimper tool and the cutters. Okay. And then we've got our 2 rail posts here. So got a top one and a bottom one. Okay, that's that. All right. Here's our 2 posts. Again, do everything you can not to scratch, because you'll see it later, right? Or your wife will, right? One of the 2. Somebody will see it. In our family's case, it would be me. I'd see it, I'd complain. Look, you scratched it. That's one of the good things. This is a complete kit, and the AGS looks ahead for you. One of the things you get in the kit is this passivating kit, and there's also a piece of Scotch-Brite in here, right here. So if you do scratch it, you can work out the scratch and bring it back to looking like it came from AGS. Okay, well, everything's here. Our inventory's complete. Look at that. They take good care to package it. So we're ready to start the install now. Okay, we're going to talk about drilling your holes for your anchor bolts. And I recommend using a longer bit. If you don't own a bit already, it's even better to go buy a longer bit. It's a few dollars more, but long term, they just work out better. They're more useful, and that's part of the reason. Another part of the reason is it allows you to get a less of an angle. When you use a longer bit, you can get closer here when you're drilling. The shorter bit will force you further away because of the size of the body of the drill. Now, my drill motor has a really narrow body, so it wouldn't be as critical with me, but if you have if the body of your drill motor is fat, it forces you away from the post, and this just lets you get a straighter bolt. And what you need to do is set your depth on the hole. And I like to go deeper than the hole, deeper than the length of the fastener, and because I don't have to clean the powder out of the hole. It just goes to the bottom of the hole. And then when you know your depth, it's easier to use a piece of tape than the depth gauge that comes with the drill. The depth gauge may not land in the right spot. In this case, it may land over here, and it's just piece of tape is easier. Okay, so you want to drill one hole. You got to start somewhere. So. Okay, this guy can stay right here. With these bolts, because they won't go through these holes, the anchor bolts won't fit through this hole to pound it in. You can't pound them in, so you have to put one in and then start to tighten it up, and then drill one other hole after you straighten this up. You get it all straight like you want it. Then you put another one in, do it again, you have to take it off, put it on, tighten these two up to hold it still, and pilot these, get them going, and then take it back off, drill them, put the last few in. But you want to make sure that this is square before you drill your second hole, because that gives everything, everything's going to be in reference to where that is. One of the tricks you can do to protect the finish on the posts is you can put some tape over the face of the wrench. If you're doing these ones here on the cables, you might do that to protect the finish here. In this case, there's a washer, so the washer does that work. And you see the post isn't square now. We're going to square it up later, but I'm going to start tightening this guy up a little bit till he's snug. And I'm going to end up taking it back off after I drill the holes here. So we're going to call that good for now. Going to loosen it back up. And what we're going to do now is kind of get the post parallel to where it goes this way. And you can do it kind of by eye. You'll have a little bit of movement. I do this good. It wouldn't hurt to get the other post in. If you're not confident, get the other post in with one hole. Make sure you put it where it's supposed to be, and then put a straight edge between the two of them to get them this way. It's this way. It's not this way you're worried about right now. It's this way. So I'm confident in my skills that that's going to be good right there. Okay? So Jason, come over here and hold this, would you? So I'm going to drill the second hole, and always when you're drilling holes, you want something to be straight. It's always best to go the furthest distance apart. So the kitty corner hole is the best hole to drill next. So we're going to start this other hole. Okay, when you put your fastener in, you're going to put your fastener in till it's in far enough that it will grab. You don't need to put the nut and the bolt on here if you're careful when you pound it in, or the washer and the nut on here, and it'll go down in there. Just be careful these last few strokes. This is where you could lose your fastener. So I want it to be just deep enough that I can get a nut on here. I'm kind of maybe a little anal retentive on this stuff. Okay, that's where I want it. First few threads, make sure we're tightening. Okay. Okay, we're going to put the post back on. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and drill these holes here, and at this point we had to put because the spacing on this post is kind of dependent upon the handrail. We've stuck the handrail in there and made sure that it's pretty much square when we start to drill. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark this hole right here. If you go too deep, you won't be able to use this bolt. So I've got like 3 threads on there. That's good enough to start. You need to bring it up so it's above this, so we can put that bolt in. Okay, put it back on the bolt. Okay, then you want to again check all your square. So you're going to have to hold that way for me. Drill the kitty corner hole. Because this is kind of locked in with the top handrail, I'm going to go ahead and start these other holes. All right, we're going to take it off and put the lock anchor bolts in the other holes. Okay, you want to pound these in and don't go too deep again. Make sure you leave at least about 3 threads to grab with the nut. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to glue this part in and use this little piece of cord here to clamp it, and then we're going to put the cables in. So, okay, hold this. And we have to, before we can tighten these all the way down, we have to actually do it before we can tighten down the anchor bolts. So, it's nice not to get this stuff on you if you can help it. There's no way to do this elegantly. So, and it wants to get everywhere. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, you want to get it on here and give it a little bit of a turn to kind of spread it around. I've kind of made this into a little clamp here. So, can you get down here? Okay, so what I did was I made a clamp and a loop. And we'll come down here and I can put a good deal of strain on it like that. Yeah. We'll want to come back as soon as I get the first cable in. I'm going to use the first cable to take the place of this, and then I'll take this off and wipe it. The stuff that's oozing out, you want to wipe it off as soon as you can. Using acetone is about the best thing for this job. Okay, so what we're going to do is put the first piece of cable in there. Okay, so now we're going to take this cable and we're going to use the first cable. Actually, I'm going to put it in the second hole, but I'm going to use the first cable to replace this as my clamp. So put it through the hole here. Get a regular nut on there. And then you want to go ahead and put a castle nut on there, or a acorn nut on there to lock it in place so it doesn't come loose while you're doing the rest of it. Okay, then we're going to come down here and we're going to cut the cable to length. And we're going to cut back 3/8 of an inch from the post here, which is just shy of 1/2 inch, lined up with where the hole goes. So, okay, now we've cut it. What we're going to do is go ahead and crimp the fitting on here. If you slide the fitting in, you'll see it goes in about 1.5 inches or so. And you want to put 2 crimps about 1/2 inch apart. So if you come to here, you want to make sure you get the cable all the way in the bottom of the hole. And then go about 1/2 inch up. Okay, that's it, it's crimped. Okay, then you're going to take it, your lock nut and your castle nut, put it in your holes here. Now we're going to take a 7/16 inch wrench and we're going to take the pair of vice grips here and kind of hold on to this a little bit. I'm going to Try not to grab it too hard because I don't like leaving marks on stuff. So we're going to tighten it up. You're going to do it on both sides to get kind of an even pull. And then you're going to lock the lock nut against the, or the acorn nut against the regular nut. Okay, and then we're going to do that again and again, but right now we're going to take off this. Our cable now is doing the job that this temporary clamp rope was doing. And at this point I really want to wipe off the excess bonding agent before it cures too much. Okay, now I'm not going to put the rest of the cables on. What I'm going to do is level this post. And this isn't really what you would normally do for the rest of a cable installation, but because it's on the stairs and because I had to have this piece in before I level this post, I had to do it in this order. On a top mount, you can level all the posts before you make the final attachments, but I can't do that. So to level the post, you're going to use the nuts here. And I'm level that way. Okay, and I'm not quite level that way. So basically, you tighten the side that the bubble is not in the middle toward, and it'll pull you to the center. So that way is perfect. So it's that way. Okay, so basically it's leveled. I'm going to go back and put the rest of the cables in. So, and actually I'm going to tighten this all down more. All right, we've got the cable in, and we'll clean that off in a while. See what that is. Just some gook. We'll clean all that off in a while. We're going to go ahead and put the rest of the cables in and probably speed this up time lapse. Make sure you get all the bonding agent off because it's a bear to get off later. It works really good. So, okay, so we're going to put the rest of the cables in. So I'm going to go back and tension all the cables evenly and put the lock nuts on there. So let me get enough threads here to do that. All right, so we're at a final state. We're going to go ahead and put the tension on these that we like. You can actually bow your posts in a little bit. There's a lot of pull here, so just snug is good. And you'll find if you start snugging them, it's going to chase you up and down the post, so you don't over tighten. See it? As I tighten one, another one becomes loose. Okay, we're just about there. Okay. All right, now once that's done, you want to get the acorn nuts up against the bottom nuts and you want to lock them together. So you hold the bottom nut stationary and tighten the acorn nut against it. You're locking them together. This is what keeps the whole thing from coming apart, okay? Is this final tightening of the acorn nut. You're locking them together. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other end, and once the cables are all good, then we're going to move on to the next step. This is the passivating kit, and it has a piece of Scotch-Brite in it. If you have any scratches or something in here, this stuff will take it out. What you want to do is go the same exact direction that you already see and try and go in straight lines. If you have to do it on the handrail or this top piece, you need to go around. A lot of times you'll have to go around this way, get this right, and then come back in here with just an edge and get this little spot right here. So your lines, if you want to be that accurate. So that's basically it. You got everything you need. You probably should passivate it. There's a bottle of passivating cleaner here, so you can clean it and passivate it at the same time. And that helps it not to, corrosion resistant steel is the proper term for stainless steel. It's corrosion resistant. That doesn't mean it won't corrode. If you care for it properly, it'll last you a long time. It's less likely to corrode, and proper maintenance is great. If you use, you can use a good quality car wax on here. Will protect the finish. If you leave watermarks on here for a long time, you can again use the Scotch-Brite and get rid of the watermarks. Okay, just make sure that you go the same direction as the grain that's already on the product. And that's it. It's pretty easy to install. Stairway is harder than the rest of it. A straight cable is really easy compared to this, but it's all relatively easy. Looks great. The joints are perfect, both top and bottom. The angle's perfect. What more could you ask?